Generally speaking, as we mentioned, microbes, microorganisms are permitted to be eaten. They are not forbidden in the category of shratzim. There are two reasons that are stated generally for this permission. One, as we said, that you can't see them. And whatever you can't see, even if you apply, even though you can see it if you use a microscope, but you can't see it with the naked eye, then you don't have to worry about eating the microbes. The second thing is that there are those who say that microbes are not really animals. They're not live animals. There's something else, a third category, which the Torah has not forbidden. When it comes to big animals, the Torah said some you could eat and some you can't eat. When it comes to shratzim, the Torah is very strong that you should try to avoid them. When it comes to microbes, the decision has been that since you can't see them, or alternatively, since they're not really animals of any kind, it's possible to eat them freely without any concern. But you know that if you're drinking water and an animal jumps out of the water right at you, well, you can't say that it's a microbe. So there was this problem with water in New York, or water in New York that came from certain places. And while I'm not going to paskin the shaila, you all have rabbis you can turn to who have addressed the question, but the question there was different than the question we are talking about. We're talking about a situation where you don't see the whatever is in the water. You need a microscope to see it. The problem with the New York water was that from time to time it was possible to see all kinds of odd things that were coming out, and certainly that could not be easily placed within the context of the microbe, of the microscopic organism that is permitted in the Torah. Now, the eggs produced by worms or shratzim are also forbidden ba'achila. They're also forbidden to be eaten from the Torah. However, if they get mixed in with other things, other foods, such that you don't see them anymore, then the laws of bitul apply. The laws of majority and minority apply to the mixture. And if there is at least 60 times as much of permitted food against the eggs that are prohibited, the eggs are not considered to be a barrier. They're not considered to be an independent entity, and then the rule of 60 applies, right? The rule of 60 applies. So again, there's a difference between the animal itself, the worm, the sheketz, right, which is an entity, an animal entity, which there is a special prohibition, even in a mixture, to eat that animal. On the other hand, the eggs are not an animal. The eggs are just something that is yotzei min hatameh. It comes from something that is tameh, and you can't eat it. But if it gets mixed inadvertently into the food that you're making, and if it disappears, of course, and you can't find it anymore, then the rule of 60 applies. And that's the difference between the sheretz, between the worm and the crawling animal, and the eggs from the worm and the crawling animal.